welcome to tonight's meeting of the Fort Wayne Community School Board of Trustees. We begin each meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance. If you would please rise. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And roll call of members.
Good evening, Steve Corona from the 5th District.
Good evening, Glenna Yale from the 2nd District.
Tom Smith, 3rd District.
Maria Norman, Member at Large.
And Duff, Member at Large. And I'm Julie Hollingsworth, elected from the 1st District. And to my far left is Janet Doherty, the Clerk of the Board. Good evening. And our Superintendent, Dr. Winnie Robinson. Good evening. Good evening. So we'll get right to it. This is, we start with awards and recognitions, and our favorite part of the year. And we, first on the list is we are going to recognize the Fort Wayne Community Schools Scholarship winners. Tonight we will recognize 27 Fort Wayne Community School high school seniors who have been awarded scholarships by the Fort Wayne Community School Scholarship Committee. The committee is permanently chaired by Matt Henry, and other committee members. Each of the Fort Wayne Community School board members then appoints a person to the scholarship committee. So these scholarships must be Fort Wayne Community School seniors who have displayed financial needs, scholarship, leadership, and initiative during their high school years, and the awards range from $500 to $24,000. And
Wow.
Mr. Henry, I will turn it over to you. Thank you again for joining us.
Thank you, Madam President and board members and Superintendent. Again, I'm Matt Henry. I'm chair of the Fort Wayne Community Schools Scholarship Committee. Over the past several months, the committee has met to review nearly 200 applications from seniors throughout our school system. And tonight, it's our pleasure to present to the board those award winners. But before doing so, I'd like to acknowledge my fellow committee members. We have Nita Auer, who's going to help us with the presentation, and Michelle Bander is going to do the same. But also Travis Ains, Dr. Gabe Carey, Judge Bill Lee, Dacia Jackson Sanchez, and Sel Soto. We're also very heavily involved in this process. I'd also like to thank Jessica Swynford and Polly Skidgel who are with the Fort Wayne Community School community programs. They do a lot of behind-the-scenes work, and they make our job much easier. The Scholarship Committee recently selected 27 seniors to receive academic scholarships and awards of over $189,000. Students are screened for financial needs, scholarship, leadership, and initiative displayed during their high school years. The awards range from a one-time award of $1,000 to $6,000 over a 4-year period. This evening, we'd like to recognize our winners. Shall we begin?
And Matt, just before you start, just
Sure.
one reminder to parents and families, you'll have plenty of time to take pictures, so don't be shy. And if there's a break in the action when we're taking pictures and those scholarship recipients and families want to leave, you will not insult us one bit, because we know you're busy people and still busy students and have things to do. So.
Thank you. And in that vein, several students were not able to make it tonight. Again, these students are all very active, and so we feel especially privileged for those that could join us tonight, but certainly understand those that weren't able to be here. So we'll begin with the Anthus Scholarship. The winner is Alexander Barty, a Northup High School senior. And Alexander will attend Purdue University to study chemical engineering.
Oh, go ahead, stand there.
Sure. And parents, if you have a camera or a smartphone, you want to shoot photos, by all means, feel free to do so.
Group photo.
The Charles Baker Scholarship winner is a Wayne High School student, Rafiq Dourial. And Rafiq will be attending the University of Indianapolis Honors College to pursue a degree in business management and marketing.
Best mascot ever, Greyhounds.
The Clarence and Josephine Beaton Scholarship winners are Sienna Higbee, a Northrop High School senior who will study engineering technology, teacher education at Purdue University. Also, Alexandra Moss, a Snyder High School senior, and she plans to attend Ball State University to study music education.
Congratulations.
The winners of the John and Marianne Chapman Scholarship for Northside High School students going into the medical field are Peyton Burns. She will be attending Ball State and studying physical therapy, but she will not be able to attend tonight. Amber Dreesey is planning to study biology with pre-veterinary medicine on a pre-veterinary medicine track at Purdue Fort Wayne. Brianna Dunphy will be studying communication sciences and disorders at Purdue Fort Wayne. July Moe is attending Purdue Fort Wayne to study biology. And Min Pie Son Thant is planning to study biochemistry at Ball State University. Parents?
Anyone
Okay,
else?
take your time. Thank you. You're welcome. Very good. The Casey Hardier Scholarship winner is a Wayne New Tech High School senior, Nicholas Beer. He will be attending, he's got a fan club out there. He will be attending Indiana University in Bloomington to study business marketing. Congratulations. The Grace Hogan Scholarship winners are Alex Farmer, a Snyder High School senior. He plans to attend MIT to study chemistry. Reagan Guston, a Southside High School senior. She plans to study nursing at Indiana University in Bloomington. She was unable to attend tonight. Malaz Mamahiden, a Northrop High School senior. She plans to attend the University of Pittsburgh to study human biology with a pre-med track.
Hey.
Epiphany White, a Snyder High School senior. She plans to attend Purdue University and pursue a degree in biomedical engineering.
Congratulations.
Wait.
Hold on.
Oop, one more picture.
The winners of the Lis Family Scholarship for Northside High School students are John Miley. He's planning to attend the University of Indianapolis to study music performance. Aiden Redmond will be studying astronautical engineering at Purdue University.
Are we going to make it to Mars, Aiden?
Yes.
Congratulations.
Very good. The Alice McPherson Scholarship winner is Northside High School senior Sophie Steele. She will be studying biology at Purdue Fort Wayne. Congratulations. The Ship Chandler Scholarship winner is Lena Tran, a Northrop High School senior. She will attend Indiana University in Bloomington to study biology. Congratulations. The Reagan Swynford Memorial Scholarship winner is Wayne New Tech High School senior Rhiannon Clayton. She will be attending IU-PUI to enter the 4+1 Social Work Master's program.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. The John Young Scholarship winners are Rowan Akers, a Southside High School senior. He plans to earn a degree in Intelligent Systems Engineering from Indiana University in Bloomington. Kayla Bunkowski, a Wayne High School senior. She plans to attend Indiana Tech to pursue a degree in either marketing or forensic science. Darian Hackbath, a Southside senior. She plans to attend St. Mary of the Woods in Terre Haute, Indiana, to study business administration. Elizabeth Kolkman, a Southside High School senior. She plans to earn a degree in ecological and evolutionary biology from the University of California, Davis.
Hey, hey.
Valeria Lopez, a Wayne High School senior. She plans to study hospitality management at Purdue Fort Wayne. Emmeline Shoemaker, a Snyder High School senior. She plans to study biology at Taylor University. And Lynn Din Tran, a Northrop High School senior. She plans to attend Indiana University in Bloomington to study nursing.
Did we get them all?
Is that everyone?
Congratulations.
Congratulations. Wow. And lastly, the Carolyn Zwick Scholarship Award winner is Justine Bowditch, a Snyder High School senior. She plans to attend IUPUI and major in criminal justice with a double minor in psychology and sociology. Thank you. And board members, there you have our recipients of this year's scholarships from the Fort Wayne Community School System. And we thank you for the privilege of working on this project year after year, because it means a lot to us, and we know how important it is to this community. Thank you. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Congratulations, students and parents.
Thank you for volunteering your time on the committee. Got to be, I know it takes a lot of time, but it's exciting stuff.
It's a
I know.
privilege. It truly is.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you all.
Congratulations to friends and family and siblings. Go celebrate and enjoy. Thank you. Study for those AP tests. Dr. Robson, that might be the first time we had schools from both coasts represented here tonight. That's pretty exciting.
It is, with big plans.
From one part of the country to the other. It's pretty cool. And $189,000 in scholarships. It's awesome.
Over 200 applicants.
Yeah, that's right. 200 applicants for what ended up to be 27 scholarships.
Phenomenal.
That's pretty impressive. Okay, next, we will recognize the senior members of the Superintendent Student Advisory Council. Another outstanding group of Fort Wayne Community School students. Superintendent Student Advisory Council was created in the 2004 school year to increase communication between the superintendent and students in the district. The council includes students from the district's 5 high schools and the Fort Wayne Community School Career Academy at Anthos. The council's mission is to provide the superintendent with the student perspective and empower fellow students to improve the schools and the community. This year's council was particularly effective in providing feedback and input to the superintendent. So tonight, we recognize the senior members of this prestigious group. So please come forward as your name is read.
Could you announce the advisors? They can come up and shake hands too.
Okay, so all the advisors would include Get Nichols, Faye Williams-Robbins, Kara Froning, Carlton Mabel, Tim Rail, Krista Stockman, Beverly Metzger, Sheila Mins, and Jacqueline Smith. Come on down. We form a receiving line.
Don't be fooled, they're in charge of us.
Who's going to take the picture?
I'll take it.
Oh, okay.
Then you just paste your head in. Okay. So, senior members of the Superintendent Student Advisory Council. Lars Brandgard, representing the Career Academy. Ethan Grimes from Northside. Brett Hoffman, Northrop High School. Kayla Cordes, Northrop High School. Latrell Lapsley, Wayne Newtek. Gabrielle Morgan, Anthos Career Academy. Leona Rembert, Southside.
Where were you last week? Tell me later. Okay.
April Salazar, Wayne High School. And Peyton Scully, Snyder High School.
Okay. So let's form a line. Who's going to go up and tell the board what we did? Go ahead and like, we know you're going to do it anyway, so just go in and tell them. At the mic.
At the microphone.
We gotta take the picture.
Something tells me, Latrell, you've seen one of those before.
Come on, you have to. Their parents are waiting. You get a. Right. Scrunch. Can we see you?
Everyone bright smiles.
Okay. Go tell them what we did and why.
Is this thing, it's on.
Oh, yeah.
So what we do is we give our input and basically our information to Dr. Robertson to improve Fort Wayne Community School as a whole, because it's very important to give your perspective of a student, because we are the ones going to these schools and we're the ones representing these schools. And so that's what we do to better Fort Wayne Community Schools. Is that good enough?
What we do last year.
That's great.
Start next year.
Next year, well, I know we talked about the YLN, I think that's what it's called. Yes, ma'am, and next year they're gonna try to start a college one during the springtime, to really better form a community as a whole, to get our information from our youth to better our city, because we want a lot of people to come back to our city and spend their money here, so we can better our city. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Great job.
I just have to say that one of the things that, and our board members have attended some of our sessions, we think we know, but the one way to know what actually happens in schools and whether what we plan as a board and administration makes any sense is to ask the students. And so one of the things that even this year, we're planning for next year is to start this whole, the state has decided everybody needs a citizenship test. So one of the things we're going to do is work with the young leaders of Northeast Indiana. What is citizenship? Does it mean to support not just the city but the country? So everything they tell us we listen to, parents in the audience, I cannot tell you how much we all appreciate, everybody standing here, you allowing us to just learn so much from your children. So we've grown, and it's amazing to see them from freshman year to senior year turn into just young men and women. We only have one rule, is that once you grow taller than the superintendent, you have to sit down when you talk to him. And it's amazing. Every year, I'm amazed that I am the shortest one by the time they get to be seniors. But big brains in this group, and I can't tell you how much we appreciate it. So thank you, everybody. Okay.
What's the best advice or solution you heard this year from these students, Dr. Robinson?
First of all, they were heavily involved in the conversations around the language arts and math. And our last meeting, it was phenomenal. I asked them, had they seen differences in the beginning of the year and this year in terms of their understanding, in terms of teacher instruction. And one of the young ladies talked about the fact that once the teacher and the students got more comfortable, in particular with Agile Minds, it turned into not just the packets, but there were actually conversations and discussions. So obviously, anything we do, we ask them. We've had people come in, we were starting the conversation with Ms. Reed about grading. We ask them every single time we have a topic. Tell us what works with grades, what doesn't. And one of the things that we say to them, and we do, is whatever they tell us, we take it directly back to the high schools. The one piece we still have not cracked is that middle school. We talk a lot about the advice, but our last topic we talked a little bit about is how do you help on the bus? And they had some really interesting insights as to which grade levels have the most difficulty riding the bus, and gave us some suggestions of things that we should do, and we gave that to the transportation department. So no subject is off the table. Anything that we get that parents or community people are concerned about, we ask them, and the rule is you can't use the name of a teacher, you can't tell me what adults told you to tell me, but we really get a lot of information from them. So
We've heard from parents here at our board meeting about bullying, and I'm wondering if that was a conversation you entered into.
we did, and really the conversation, well, they can speak, but the conversation about the busing was a little bit around the bullying conversation. So I don't think there's a topic we haven't talked about. You think of one, and they've given their opinion. And we always put it in writing, and then we report back to them what we did with it. So they've helped us grow up too, so appreciate it.
Very good.
And they've all promised they'll come back and live in Fort Wayne, right? Right? Yeah.
Maybe anyone going to come back and teach in Fort Wayne?
Now, we did hire one of our first, about 4 years ago, he went through the, 5 years ago, it would have been, one of our students is now a math teacher in the district.
Nice.
So we do try to recruit them if we can, but they all have such
Yeah.
big plans, they forget about us as soon as they leave.
Exactly.
So,
Well,
thank you so much.
Good luck to you next year. Good luck with those big plans next year.
Yep.
We hope to
Okay.
hear great things from you.
Thank you.
See you. check it out. Thank you, sir. One young lady's getting married, and I had to make sure I could check out her from my fiance, because you know I ask all of those kind of questions.
Absolutely.
She brought him so I could check him out.
I was going to say, has to meet with your approval, right?
She's got a good head, I'm sure. But thank you for honoring them.
Okay, next on our agenda is the consent agenda, and these are items that come to us every meeting. They include approval of the minutes from our last meeting on April 22nd, which board members have had to review. They include vouchers and payroll, vouchers for the period ending May 6th, and payroll for the period ending April 12th, which members have seen to review, and then the personnel report, which has also been provided to us. So, do we have a motion and a
Move
second?
approval of the 3 items listed under the consent agenda, Madam Chair.
Second.
Thanks, Steve. Thanks, Tom. All those in favor of approval signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, and Dr. Robinson, was there anything on the personnel report you wanted to mention?
No, probably on the next one, we'll have quite a few names. This is that time of year where the districts in the neighborhood, we all just kind of recruit and steal from each other. But we're in the process now of getting her directors. We're doing interviews, did some today, we'll do some tomorrow. And by the next board report, we're confident we'll have, first of all, our interns placed. And then we have a plan for filling vacancies that we have with administrators. So still having struggles with elementary. We can, it's hard to find elementary principals because we keep stealing them from each other, but we're really ahead of the game and trying to do the best we can. So next board report.
Okay, great, thank you. So we have no old business. Next is new business, and the first item on the agenda is science and health textbook adoption and student fees for 2019 to 2025. Whew. It's recommended that the board adopt proposed materials for the 2019 to 2025 school years for use in grades K12 science and high school health. It's recommended that the board approve the textbook rental rates for the 2019-25 school years. The Science Textbook Adoption Committee was facilitated by Curriculum Assessment and Instruction Department. A team of Fort Wayne Community School teacher and administrators have reviewed the instructional materials using a 6-step process. Families unable to pay student fees may apply for financial assistance. The state of Indiana reimburses the Fort Wayne Community School Textbook Rental Fund for a portion of the textbook rental charges for qualified students, and the remainder is supplemented from the Education Fund. So this process addresses District Goal 1, achieve and maintain academic excellence. Questions will be answered by Jennifer Mabel, Director of Curriculum Assessment and Instruction, Rachel Dickerhoof, Curriculum Coordinator, and Carrie Stidham, Textbook Rental Coordinator. And of course, members have gotten this packet which lists all of the textbooks and science kits and things, and then the other things that have been, that we are approving the adoption of tonight. Do we have a motion and a second?
Move for approval.
Second.
Okay, thanks, Lynette. Thanks, Maria. So, any questions?
What percentage of students apply for assistance for textbooks?
About,
Does it mirror our, I don't know, we don't
Well-
track that number. Is it still above 70% or not?
I'm going to say it's probably around 70%. I need to get back to you and get you an exact figure. I'm
Okay.
sorry, I didn't bring that with me.
But it's about, it's in that ballpark.
It's a little, well, it actually might be less than that. What's difficult right now is because they don't have to, students don't have to apply for free lunch.
Right.
They often won't apply, they don't realize maybe that they have to apply for free textbooks. And we have a lot of education we have to do to try to make sure that that's the case, that they do apply. Because eventually, if they don't apply, then we have a collection problem. So we really encourage families
Yeah.
to apply early. And I don't know, did you bring that figure with you? Do you know how many? No, okay.
And
And
is
they
that-
apply,
They can
Oh, go
apply
ahead, Steve.
anytime throughout the year.
I was just going to say, when you get your first bill,
Right,
then you can apply.
right. It's very helpful if they do it earlier, because then that's what we submit to the state. But we do accept applications all through the year.
And that request for assistance comes to us, not to the state? That paperwork?
Right. Although if families are approved for direct certified benefits, so if they are on SNAP, TANF, for foster children, anything that actually applies for our complexity index, those students are automatically eligible for free textbooks, and the state gives us a file so that we can match that up, and those families don't actually have to apply then, because they're automatically provided the benefit. It's for those families that are not direct certified but eligible for textbooks that it's a little trickier.
Okay. And that's probably the confusing part, because now we've divided families or students into 3 groups.
Right, so the urgency isn't quite there,
Yeah.
to.
Right.
But we continue to have a process all through the year to try to encourage families to apply for assistance if they're eligible for that.
So we're one of, it used to be 5, it may be less than that, states that don't provide
Right.
free textbooks. So people who move in from other states look at us like, we have 2 heads. So it was always a problem to collect, even before we did the lunches. I think that's something that's more confusing, but it always has been a problem trying to collect textbooks.
Are there various levels of assistance? Like there's a 50% voucher and a 70% voucher and a 90% voucher?
Nope.
Nope.
Either all or
Either all or nothing?
Yeah.
Okay.
In this write-up, it says the rental fund for a portion of the textbook rentals. Is that because, depending on if they're qualified or not, some students get all of it paid for and others don't get the whole thing paid for?
Because the state doesn't fund 100% of what the cost of the rental fee is, then the education fund has to pick up the difference. So for instance,
So we make up the difference?
right.
And are they allocating as much as they have been in the past?
Yes, they have been, but the costs go up. And and there's some things like that the state doesn't cover consumable items, but they cover textbooks. So the consumable piece, if the family is not paying for those, then the school district picks up the cost of those consumables.
Okay, so the amount that we're picking up from the education fund, is that fairly steady from year to year, or has that been going up as well?
I think it's fairly steady. I didn't bring that number, did you?
So you can email me.
I will.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I will.
I think the other part that is just so frustrating is how much books cost. And even if you're not using books, the technology, you gotta have the hardware for it. And so some of the fluctuation is the rising costs for the materials we try to get. And I don't think the state has increased, that's something maybe we can tell you. I don't think they increased the amount even though it's steady, but everything we buy now is more expensive than it was 10 years ago.
So we're making up that difference, right?
Yes.
Out of our,
The state gives a
Education
fixed
fund.
amount per pupil,
Uh-huh.
is how they do it. So
For
they take,
curriculum.
they take their total appropriation, and then they divide it or allocate it based on what the submissions are by all school districts and provide an allocation. This year, we happened to get a little bit more than what our claim was, which is unusual. But that's because they appropriated a greater amount that allowed for that. Or there could have been school districts that had less. In fact, we had a lower actually submission this year because we didn't have science in our textbook rental fees for this 1 year while we were ready for an adoption. So, but so it just varies depending on what everybody else is doing in the state too.
right, so there's actually so much that
Right.
they allocate, and then depending on who applies.
Right.
So
Yeah.
that can vary from year to
Right,
year.
exactly.
Depending on who has needs.
I have a question with regard to the level of satisfaction that we have with the textbook. I know it seems like there was a rubric and lots of people brought in. I know that maybe in the past, we weren't as excited about the textbook that we had for science. Is that level of excitement increased, I would hope?
Yes. The feedback that we've gotten, we had a large group of teachers who were involved at all of the different levels, and they are very satisfied with what we have selected. They're very excited to use those resources. They're definitely a step up from what we've had in the past.
Good to hear. Good, thank you.
Great. Jennifer, could you discuss the tie now between textbook adoption and curriculum writing? Because I think that also, when you talk about excitement, we've got 300 and something people writing, and kind of talk about what the tie is going to be between the textbooks and the writing.
Yeah. So we have 40 teachers that are writing for science this summer. That's grades 6 through 8, and then chemistry, biology, and ICP. And so the adopted materials they're using to do their units and lessons with, and they'll be piloting that this summer. So there's a direct connection to the resources we just adopted and the writing that's happening this summer with those 40 teachers. Everybody else will still have access. Kindergarten has their, K through 5 will have theirs, and then the other teachers can still access the materials, but our teachers that are writing will pilot those units and lessons aligned to that new adoption.
Any other questions? Okay, all those in favor of approval signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, next we have a partial roof replacement at Lane Middle School. It's recommended that the board approve the following construction contract for roofing replacement at Lane Middle School. The base bid is $307,300 from Fort Wayne Roofing and Sheet Metal. Alternate one not accepted. Replacement has been identified in our roof replacement plan, which provides for the replacement of all roof segments over a 25-year period. Martin Riley designed. The project was included in the amended capital projects plan, which was approved by the Board of School Trustees last meeting. Funding is through the Operations Fund. Although we received only one bid, this recommendation is within the project budget. Project specifications require the work to be complete by July 25th, 2019. Questions will be addressed by Director of Facilities, Darren Hess. Do we have a motion and a second?
So moved.
Second.
Thanks, Tom. Thanks, Maria. Questions? So Darren, just roughly, because I know you want to get up. So progress toward our roofing plan. Where's this put us?
Actually, Jade's just going through that today. We are starting to go into a little bit of a dip where we've caught up. But in 24 and 25, 26, we have a bubble that goes up again. So likely we'll have to do another roof catch-up because we're looking at $4 to $5 million a year in that bubble coming up. So right now we're sustaining.
Okay. Okay. Great. Any other questions? Okay, thanks. All those in favor of approval signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, now it's recommended that the board approve an additional appropriation of $1,500,000 for the 2019 Operations Fund budget. Last meeting on April 22nd, we conducted a public hearing and approved an amendment to the 2019 Capital Projects Plan. Approval of the additional appropriation increases the budget in the Operations Fund in order to carry out the amended Capital Projects Plan. Funding is made possible through savings in 2018. The notice for this additional appropriation was advertised on April 22nd, 2019 in the Journal Gazette. So we now, the public hearing for this additional appropriation is open, and if any members of the public wish to address the board regarding this additional appropriation, the microphone is open. Seeing no one, board members will be, questions will be addressed by Chief Financial Officer Kathy Friend. Do we have a motion and a second?
So moved. Second.
Thanks, Maria and Tom. Questions? I'm glad you guys are keeping track of all this because it seems like deja vu all over again to me.
It does.
But, okay, all those in favor of approval signify by saying aye.
Madam President,
Up.
did you close the public hearing? You know, we got in trouble last
Did we
time.
close it after the vote?
Okay.
Before the vote?
I think-
Before the vote?
I think before the.
Okay, so the public hearing for this additional appropriation is now closed. You lost your opportunity to speak. So all those in favor of approval signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay. And there's the resolution that goes along with it. So that brings us to the close of our meeting. Next meeting is next Monday, May 13th. When we will have additional awards and recognitions. That's the big one, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Okay. So, member comments? Steve?
Excuse me. I will not be here next week. I'm going to be attending and participating in a conference in Washington, D.C. regarding an opportunity to close the digital equity gap. And so at this meeting will be representatives from all of the major banks who have CRA money, Community Redevelopment Act money. Also in attendance will be federal banking regulators and then third-party providers such as companies like Comcast. And the fascinating, exciting news coming out of that conference, in fact, just two points. One is that federal banking regulators will now permit that money to be spent on closing the digital equity gap, and that's not been allowed before. So that could be a real opportunity for us. Secondly, my understanding is that the feds also have money that will be passed through housing authorities, and so there may be another opportunity for us to partner with our Fort Wayne Housing Authority on digital instruction. So I'm going to take good notes and come back and try to figure out if there's some real partnerships that we can take advantage of from that. So,
Thanks for doing that.
thank you.
Well, mine is not so much a comment as it is a question. Kathy, the legislature wrapped up, and I'm getting mailers from my representatives saying they've given historic amounts of money to education. Do you have, would you just enlighten us briefly on whether we came out ahead, we came out even, or we came out behind, especially since there were two different versions of the finances for education that we were kind of advocating for?
In the final version, we ended up with, I think, 2.2% the first year and I think 1.1% the second year, if I'm not mistaken. And I would not call that a historic increase. There were districts that did much better than we did because, again, it was another year or another budget of reducing the complexity part of the school funding formula. So urban school districts or districts with higher poverty did not see increases as high as those with less poverty. So it's something we just have to continue to chip away at. They did increase funding in ELL a little bit, but certainly not enough to make up for the loss that we saw on the complexity side. But that was something that we had been advocating for, was increased ELL, so we're glad that that happened.
I think one of the things that Justin was not able to come, that's why we had to cancel the legislative. But I've talked to Krista and to Kathy and to Charles about the fact that we're going to need to educate our internal and external audiences because the state did a phenomenal job of jumping on how well they had done. And most people come up to me now and congratulate me for the increases in funding. And so I think one of the things that we don't want to do is step all over our efforts because our lobbyists and our working with the urban schools associations, we made some inroads. And the focus for the Urban Schools Association next year, and Kathy volunteered to chair this committee, didn't you, Kathy? She's going to work with the other business officials. I don't think the state knows what to do with complexity. So we have got to put a model in front of them because they keep working at it, and every time it just doesn't quite get there. But I think the other part that we have to explain to the community are some of the laws that got passed that will impact us July 1, that are the hidden laws with the cost, that even if we got additional money, it's going to be sucked up with something that they expect for us to do. So we want Justin here, because he and Dave from the Urban Schools Association have built some phenomenal relationships. We don't want to damage those relationships, but our parents have to know that we're not historic levels. She's not saying it, but I am. And that where the money was placed was just more of the voucher and charter and more of the tax credits and more of the flexibility for non-urban public schools. So we have to lay that out. I've talked to Krista and Jen about what is the campaign to explain that to people. But our PTA people want to know. And so what we're thinking is you have to start now talking about what happened this year and what you want to have as the focus for next year. Because everybody thinks it was wonderful.
And that's an important point. When the state says that there was a historic increase in the amount of K12 funding, number one, they're talking about the dollar amount. And number two, it includes voucher increases, it includes charter increases. They bumped up the extra amount that charter schools got per student, correct? Mm-hmm. It includes tax credit scholarship increases. So, all those are included, and so the increase is not all traditional public education. That's a different story. And there are some winners and there are some losers, So.
And the other part that we're trying to do is, Kathy does a great job of trying to help the budget people see the impact on a district like Fort Wayne. And we're an anomaly, because we're an anomaly. But I think the part that is becoming a hidden victim of this whole system are the smaller and rural districts. If we got hammered, they got killed.
Yeah.
And so what we're starting to see is just this chipping away at public education, and at some point, there won't be options. And so it's a bigger issue and we're still going to have the legislative update because we have to talk about what we did get done. But I'm just worried about all the laws that they passed, the stuff that in July 1, we're held responsible for with no money to do it.
Yeah, let us know when that, we have a
We're working on
rescheduled date.
Yeah.
Tom?
I too will not be able to attend next week's meeting. I'm having what is hopefully some routine cataract removal surgery. So I will not be able to attend. And the last thing I want to say is remind everybody, be sure and vote tomorrow.
Absolutely.
That's it.
Good reminder. I was fortunate enough to attend the Seeing is Believing tour last week, and so I had a great day visiting Tolles Intermediate School and Northrop High School, and then we ended the day at the Faith Center, so it's just great. Public schools oftentimes get a bad rap. However, 90% of Hoosier families pick public education for their students. So I believe that we're getting the job done, and we're getting the job done well. It was really great. The students at Tolles were actually our tour guides, so it was great. They handled the pressure well. We had lots of questions, and they were working on wonderful projects. They were building their own cultures, so they had to come up with money and flags and all kinds of stuff. It was just incredible what they were doing, and they were so excited to work on it and show you their project, so that was great. And then we got to tour Northrop. It's just beautiful. I have really got to give praises to the community, Fort Wayne community, for passing that. The work that's being done at Northrop is just beautiful. Their arts facility is great. We didn't get a chance to see the new STEAM classroom, but I can only imagine with the space that they did for the arts, what they're going to do for the STEAM classroom. And then just all of the incredible services that we offer at FACE for immunizations and physicals, and it's just really great, the support that we give the community, not only educational-wise, but trying to help them through other, medical type things as well. But the Tim Captain over at the FACE Center said, whatever the need is, even if we don't provide that service at the FACE Center, please come in and let us get you directed to the right place. So to any of our Fort Wayne families, if you need anything, FACE is where you need to go. So it was a great day, and my hats go off to everyone, because I know that planning those types of days, you're always behind and something happens, but it was a great day. So thank you for inviting me. It was a good day.
Ann?
At our last meeting, we presented, we didn't present the awards, but we recognized, I guess, many students who won awards, and Janet sent us the link to
The poem.
Aaliyah Armstrong, I believe her name is, her poem. So if you have not listened to that or watched that, it is amazing. It is very, very emotional. It's a tearjerker. It was just, they chose the right person to win, because it was just done so well. It was beautiful. It's a must to see. And I just wanted to also thank our teachers, because it is Staff Appreciation Week, and our teachers and teacher aides and secretaries and everybody else that we recognize during this time.
Dr. Robinson?
I was going to say the same thing. I did send a little email out this morning, and I know board members got a copy. It's amazing what our teachers do. And one of the things, when we say we want to talk about what the state has done, it was such a political focus on increasing teacher pay. And there is a study committee that's been put together. As always, when you want to know what not to do, you have a study committee. But I think that it strengthened our relationship with our teachers, because they understand that this board and this administration, we go out and try to find money to actually put in your pocket. So I think they need a little boost right now. So I encourage any of you, if you have emails, things you want to say to them, you can get it to Janet. We'll send it out through our mail, because I think, like you say, our staff needs to understand that we appreciate all these kids who were here last night, all the ones that were here tonight and last week and next week. Teachers are the ones working day to day, writing and helping and prodding for some of those kids even to apply. So if you get a minute, we'd be more than happy to kind of pass some messages on.
And along those lines of Teacher Appreciation Week, I've enjoyed reading I think it's on Facebook and Twitter, but each of our schools has chosen a Teacher of the Year. Mm-hmm. And so there's a little picture in the classroom, a little profile. But the most interesting thing, I think, is to read the comments on Facebook from students, from parents, from colleagues, and that's probably the neatest part about that, is just to read those comments. And so congratulations to all of those Teachers of the Year at each building, and congratulations to all our teachers. It's a service job. You go into teaching because you love students, and and the best part about teaching is those thank yous that you get, or when you see the light bulb go on when a student finally grasps a concept or masters a skill. We forget about, teachers see that every day, but it's still important, if anybody out there is listening, if you do anything this week, maybe thank your teachers. If you had a favorite teacher, maybe you have connected with them on Facebook or some other social media and just thank them. So that's all I have. So do we have a motion for adjournment?
So moved.
Second.
Thanks, Steve. Thanks, Tom. All those in favor of adjourning signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? I don't see anyone that wants to comment on the microphone.
No one.